Hey, one of the ways in which you know that there are aliens here, or if you will, other beings that are here that aren't from here, is by the manner in which they sort of describe the relationship they have with their own soul, if you will, with the planet itself and the rest of the cosmos. Okay, so for an example of that would be Dave Snedeker, for example, who has a popular website in which him, along with his associates and friends, have spent an enormous amount of time following Q, supporting Trump, realizing what's happening to restore sanity, to restore peace, love, and harmony. So I realized that within his own sort of way he communicates, he acknowledges the importance of peace, acknowledges the importance of love, acknowledges the importance of harmony, and he mentioned that he participated in a circle of drums. Okay? But here is a telltale sign. Okay? When he mentioned yesterday about the love that he has in his own heart and creation. So what he is saying is he's communicating the love that he has with creation. So the relationship that he perceives is between himself and that of creation. But he did not acknowledge the great living spirit in Mother Earth. Okay? That's how you know the difference between a being, for example, that can be running high frequency energy within his own Merkaba, but not be native to this planet in which he has an acknowledged living spiritual relationship with the living spiritual communication with the girl in the planet. Okay? Which means he acknowledges that he has a relationship with creation, okay, in which love is in living light, what that is, but doesn't acknowledge the great living spirit that is in the planet that he's in. Okay? Which sort of tells you, you mean to tell me that you can't even acknowledge the very electromagnetic energy that you're breathing in, where that comes from? Okay? So this is sort of how, in all my travels, in all the YouTube channels that I go to, the first thing that I always look at when they talk about peace, they talk about love, they talk about harmony, restoring sanity and all the rest of that, is it's conspicuous by its absence. Okay? The nature of the way that of two things that I look at. And one is how they perceive creation through the male libido. Okay? Gender. As if the male side is the creation side of the cosmos. Okay? Which is left brain. And then he mentioned, Al, for example, that right brain, okay? That we're thinking in right brain. And right brain is not what we wanted to be in. That's false, Mr. Snedeker. The right side is the female side. That is the emotional side. That is the creation side. That is the artistic side. That is the most powerful side. Because that's the creative side. The male side is the intelligence side, the control side, the power side. Okay? So when you begin to realize what he believes that he thinks is true, he failed to mention the reptile brain, the fear-based fight or flight. And he actually believed that the right brain was the fight or flight. This is a college-educated guy, I guess, with a master's degree who was on a college, I guess they won I don't know if they won not the NBA title, but the NCAA title in basketball, and he went into film production. And he has a very popular channel, okay? But he's putting out misinformation, okay? Because what he believes is true is not true for me. I know better than that, okay? I know better than that because I know who created this. Remember I mentioned that? Start asking people, who created this? Ask Mr. Snedeker, who created the physical body that you're in? Who put that DNA assembly together? Do you know? Who was the first mother on your bloodline? Do you know that? What's your RH factor? Do you know that? These are important pieces of knowledge that are important to acknowledge, because otherwise you don't know where you really come from. You're just believing it probably what somebody else told you by reading a Bible. Not that there isn't a lot of truth in there. There is. There's also a lot of things in there that are false. I remember one time Max Spears said that the Anunnaki and the Draco, they don't care what religion you pick as long as you pick one of them. Because that will always mean that you'll be in conflict with each other over what you believe is true. And here's where it gets real funny. It's called hearsay. I figure most everybody knows what hearsay is, right? So what that means is, and this is where I get back to my childhood in 3rd grade, when I remember Scholastic Magazine was telling me on who I'm supposed to hate, who I'm supposed to protect myself against, who I'm supposed to be in fear of, and how I'm supposed to live my life. This is what happens when you come down from higher density consciousness and when you're autonomous and you're already free to be who you are, and you begin to realize that you're the author of your own story. Because the nature of the energy that you're using to be who you are is running at such a high rate of speed that your state of consciousness is not held captive by anything else. Okay? That's the beauty of the cosmos. That's the beauty of all creation that gives you the power to be able to do that, because you have a source creation link, if you will, because that's who we are. We are what love is in living light. And that allows us to be able to spin the Merkaba at a high rate of speed, in which we're a natural lighthouse. So then you begin to realize, are there bigger lighthouses? Well, what is that sun up there? That's a 6 Stargate female Merkaba. That's a big energy service provider. The gods and goddesses in this galaxy are the big energy service providers, Mr. Snedeker. Okay? So it insults the intelligence of the native Indians that are in this realm when you fail to acknowledge the great living spirit upon which is giving you everything that you draw from to eat food every day. So my question to you is, what star system are you from, Mr. Snedeker? Do you know? Okay? I am happy for you that you know what a circle of drums is, which is a circle of light. When we're all connected holding hands and we are all running at a high-speed Merkaba, holding hands in a large circle, that's an enormous amount of light and love that we are all using. Now imagine what we can do together when we do that with our state of consciousness to produce positive outcomes on the planet in a scalar way through the morphogenetic field structure. Which means, instead of putting all your consciousness energy into the problem, into experiencing the problem, I would suggest that you begin to experience spinning the speed of your Merkaba in order to become part of the solution in which we're changing and shifting to the higher consciousness density from which is possible to experience when that is the focus of our intention. Now you can be with the goddess in the planet, because she is the one that makes that possible. That's Gaia. Okay? Trinary. Free pole. So when he mentioned about binary, that's artificial intelligence. That's not manifestation. Big difference. One takes time. The other one doesn't. The other one's immediate. Because all the information in which all that data is held, which is in the information field, and with those electrons and the magnetic amplification of what we're producing holographically in a hyperdimensional, hyperspeed way, is how we're co-creating the cosmos together. Because we have that much light in which it's all held to make that happen. That's what it means about past, present, future. All of those represent electrical possibilities, or the electrical potential that can be used to experience what happens in those different speeds. So, for example, I thought about this earlier. You want to go back in time? We can go back in time. But whenever you change one event, which is an electrical event, based on the speed of the wave and the light that's being emitted, okay, it's going to be based on the spin of the Merkaba that is experiencing whatever it's experiencing at the moment it's experiencing it. That means that everything that is in the morphogenetic field structure in which we are all connected electronically, okay, and magnetically through the light in which all that data and all those experiences are being held in a holographic way are changed. Because those electrons that are speeding through the grid are going to be different than the ones that were speeding through the grid according to the clock. Which means we're changing the way in which the electrons that carry information, that's what carries information, is the electrons. Electrons are data transfer, units of data transfer, energy, frequencies. How much light? It's being emitted. That's our lighthouse. So this is what happens when you have, if you will, millions and millions and millions and millions and millions and billions of people that were programmed from one generation to the next, from one generation to the next, that all got their information from the same source, which are liars, murderers, kidnappers, okay? That commit horrific crimes wherever they go, and particularly against humanity, because humanity has emotions, which is energy that is powerful in motion. So they feed on our emotions. They feed on the low-speed emotions. So when we are experiencing fear, when we are experiencing aggression, when we are experiencing the low waves that are below 250 megahertz, we're food. And it becomes a source of energy that they use to power their system. So an information war is an electrical war. It's based on the speed of the electrons and the amount of magnetic light amplification that demonstrates the speed of our Merkaba, which is a circle of light. How bright is that circle of light? Boom, 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 boom. Just like Gaia. So anyway, these are the kinds of things that it's just another measurement of what happened here. When you realize that you can have very benevolent people that are trying to, if in this case, support Trump, okay? But there's probably, if I compile all the data, okay, because that's what he expresses is data. So I listen to all the data, which means all of the information that's coming out of his state of consciousness that he is presenting to everybody. And he's got hundreds of people that are listening to what he has to say, okay? And this is one of the very deceptive ways in which misinformation, okay, gets exponentially increased around millions of people that now hold that information in their memory. And that information that is represented by what's in memory, okay, represents the programming information upon which they operate off of. So the question is, where did you get that information from? Did it just come out of the clear blue sky and you just thought of it and nobody else ever thought of it? Or did you get it from somebody else, and where'd they get it from? This is the nature of hearsay and perception. Remember I mentioned this one before? I looked at all the studies, for example, one that really blew my mind, which is they set up a study where they had about 25 people from different walks of life, where they set up an event, much like if you remember that old show called Candy Camera. Anybody ever remember that show called Candy Camera? Which basically meant they were going to set up a scene, much like Hollywood would set up a stage, but the people that are on the street didn't know that they were walking into a film set, and they were being filmed without knowing they were being filmed. That used to be a show called Candid Camera. Okay? So imagine what happens is that you experience something that is set up on the stage. This is much like the same way that they run false flags. Okay? So what ends up happening is that you had all these people that were experiencing what was essentially set up as a film set. So now those experiences get recorded in their memory, right? And then when they came back into the classroom, they were told that what they experienced there was not true, that it was fake. It was all deliberately set up in order for them to record the experience. Well, guess what? When they were showed the video, how the stage was all set up, do you realize that they refused to believe that that was true, that it was fake? That means that they were hanging on to what they actually believed was true, was what was in their memory. That's the programming. That's the programming that they don't want to let go of. Because they don't want to believe that what they believed was true is actually a lie. And that's how an information war, which are wars over electrons, which represent information that is recorded in memory, are fought. So how do you know what's true? Well, for me, when I was a child, I knew that one thing is always real, and that is what love is. Love is what's real, because that's living light, that's living spirit that is in that light. Everything else is an illusion that they're giving me as false information, because what they want us to believe is a lie. And when people are getting information that they believe is true when in fact it's a lie, then they don't know the difference between what love and fear is. And that becomes the programming that they can't release themselves from in their lower density consciousness experiences to experience a higher density consciousness of 5D. They can't release the program. That's the AI. It went deep into everybody. So even though I realize when the woke community, we're awake, we realize what's going on, we're being held captive by demons. Okay? Well, how much of the information that is held in your memory that was given to you, which represents hearsay, because it came from another source? You didn't generate the information. It was given to you. It was given to you through your textbooks. It was given to you through the Bible. It was given to you through television programs. It was given to you through all the publications, all the billboards, everything that they put up, that they presented, and they put here in civilization that was put into the visible light spectrum was all recorded in everybody's memory, which means it's being recorded in your DNA. Those are cellular memories. That's the first thing that I had to look at was how long have they been programming these people to believe in something that's not true? Which means they're not creating their own reality. They're giving energy to experience a reality that was given to them by something else that represents a hell realm. So they experience a hell realm because it was programmed into their memory to run it, and that's why they experience it, without realizing how it works. That's the truth. So that's why for those of us that came in here when we did, the nature of spinning a Merkaba that's off the charts right out of the gate coming out of my mother's womb means we know the difference between what the truth is and what a lie is, because we are what love is in living spirit. So that's why I grabbed the most powerful magnet on the planet, which is the girl that's in the planet, because that's a goddess. Okay? The goddess of humanity. Those that are native Indians, that this is our native home world, we know that. It's why we honor the matriarch, and it's why we allow the clan mothers to be the sovereign law on this planet. And in this case, my clan mother is Karen Ann Luke MacDonald. So when she files documents in the International Criminal Court to say we're going to strip the title away from the corporations, she has the right and the lawful right and power to do that. And I, as an Indian, as part of the same clan, acknowledge her right to do that. That's why it's over. We are the native tribes and clans of this planet. Anyway, have a great day. We love you all. The girl on the planet is liberating herself from all the parasites, just as we are. That's what's going on. That will allow us to experience the higher density consciousness that represents who we are and shift together to experience the heavenly realm instead of the hell realm that we just left behind. Anyway, have a beautiful day. Bye now.